pre-sprint thoughts of Pramac Racing boss Gino Borso with both of his men on that second row. Simon, down to you.
Yes, Gino, it's been an eventful race weekend so far. I hope we don't have any more scenes that you have to be worried about. Both of your riders really fast. Shame about the yellow flag at the end of qualifying. Please.
Oke, aman di situ. Kemana kita? Ya, aku sih mau ngapain ya? Lupa lagi. Salah. Nah, hijau aman.
Pole position in the MotoGP World Championship. The countdown then now well and truly underway for this 15-lap TISO sprint here in the Sachsenring. And what does lie in store then for Marc Marquez? Excellent qualifying for Jack Miller, wasn't it, this morning? Putting the Red Bull KTM Factory Racing RC16 on the front row for the second time in 2023. Keep an eye on the hard-charging and fast-starting Brad Binder going from the back of the third row in ninth. Let's get some pre-sprint thoughts from Red Bull KTM boss Francesco Guidotti, who's with Simon.
Yes, Francesco, both your boys are flying, really on form. Your bike, and they are good off the start, which seems really important here. Please give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, nobody knows about the pace because this morning everybody was ready to understand which tire and what the setup. So we will know more about the pace during the race. But I think, as you said, with a good start, will be most probably be on the leading group. And 15 laps is quite a lot. So let's see. But I think we are ready.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
There you go then. The KTM slogan is ready to race, and Francesco Guidotti confident that his boys are ready for this TISO sprint. Brad Binder, of course, has won a sprint this season from a long way further back down the grid, 15th to the win in Rio Hondo, but this is a completely different ball game, this short, narrow Sachsenring circuit, notoriously difficult to overtake, so he's got it all on coming from the back of that third row.
And Aleix Espargaro comes from the front of the fourth row, because it's the fourth time this season, fifth time in fact, he started off the front two rows of the grid.
Anjir, ternyata.
It's been an Achilles heel for Aleix so far this season, who once again came into this weekend carrying the pain of his cycling accident last weekend. He was so pumped up yesterday afternoon when he earned an automatic place in Q2 with that lap in practice 2. But the Aprilias have got it all on this afternoon. Aleix is 10th, his teammate Maverick Vinales one row further back in 13th.
Just caught a quick glimpse there of Jorge Martin. He's loving life on Saturdays in the sprint as well, isn't he? He's also had, 4 podiums in 6 sprints, and this man is working his way back to top form, isn't he? Getting acquainted finally with that GP23 after an injury-ravaged start to his first season in the Ducati factory squad. And Airbus Giannini, he goes from 11th place. That's a high-quality fourth row, isn't it? Aleix Espargaro and Airbus Giannini, and this man, last year's German Grand Prix winner Fabio Quartararo, just to give him a little
tidak kuat ternyata.
pep talk and an embrace and a hug of encouragement from his good buddy Jake Dixon. But it was another very, very poor qualifying from Quartararo. Yes, he did get into Q2 directly, but finds himself last in that Q2 session. His qualifying forms in the last 4 races: 16th, 13th, 15th and 12th for our most recent winner here in Germany.
Shows how fine the margins are in MotoGP with a minute or two of qualifying 2 remaining. Fabio Quartararo was looking at a provisional place on the second row of the grid and found himself relegated 7 or 8 places in those closing minutes, which is why he's got to play catch up. One thing that Quartararo hasn't excelled in so far this year are the sprints. 6 sprints so far for Fabio Quartararo and only 1 point scored.
First time in 7 races, Marc Marquez doesn't start from the front row of the grid as Jack Miller gets set for this 15-lap sprint. 3-minute board goes up at the front of the grid. The safety car pulls away, and we are set for some sprint action. What's sure to be a scintillating sprint here in the Liquid Moly Grand Prix of Germany. Great to see the fans finally enjoying some nice mid-June sunshine here in this part of the Saxony region. As we get set then, Pekka Bagnaia, we're looking down on that front row of the grid. Bagnaia, he took pole with a 1:21.409. So your front row then for this 15-lap Sachsenring showdown. It is Jack Miller on the front row for the second time on the factory KTM. He's gone for the medium-soft combination. Luca Marini, a career best second in the Premier class for Marini. Italian took his first ever World Championship podium here 5 years ago in Moto 2, but 4 poles in the last 5. Can it be yet another victory in the Tissot sprint for world champion Pekka Bagnaia? The fastest riders in the world are set to gun for splint glory here in the Sachsenring. Pekka Bagnaia.
Halo semuanya. Halo Mas Rur. Sprint race bro, sprint race.
Point of our only European triple header of 2023. Mugello done and dusted. That was completely dominated by this man and Ducati. Pekka Bagnaia 7 days ago led home a Ducati romp on home turf in Mugello. The top 5 places went the way of Ducati in the sprint last weekend, the Italian Grand Prix, and then history made on Sunday. Went for the first time in their 20-year
Ada suara bukan ya?
Prix history.
Ada kan?
Ducati locked out the top 4 spots in the main Grand Prix. But we are set then. 15 laps is our 7th instalment, our 7th chapter of this fantastic, wonderful new sprint era in MotoGP. That sweep, short sweep to that tight first corner, Lewis, you feel could be real pivotal. You've got to stay clear of danger there.
Pekka Bagnaia will feel if he leads through that first corner, he's in very good shape to convert it into another sprint win. Jack Miller, of course, will be determined to deny him from that front row on the fast-starting KTM. We spoke about the front tyre choice coming into this sprint. The vast majority have actually now gone for that harder front option, with the temperatures climbing up to as high as we've had really this weekend. Only 3 actually have gone for the medium front. Jonsbo, Marco Bezzecchi and Taka Nakagami.
So we're on board with the man who, in general, rocks up the Sachsenring and walks away with a victory in his back pocket. This is a different tale. 2023 is certainly a different Honda underneath Marc Marquez. Tomorrow he will go for a 12th successive Grand Prix victory here in this part of Germany's rural Saxony region. 8 successive wins in the Premier class, twice a winner in Moto 2, 1-time a winner in 125s as well. Marco Bezzecchi then, he pushed Bagnaia all the way to the checker flag in last Saturday sprint in Mugello.
Bisanya kayak gini, nggak bisa kayak giniin. Cuman kayak gini nih, tuh. Begini doang. Kelihatan lah. Niatnya mau dimodif ini kacanya, cuman belum ada waktu. Biasanya gini nih. Segini paling. Kelihatan lah, sedikit doang. Anjir, 62 yang nonton. Gak bisa di atasin tuh, segini doang. Tuh, segini doang tuh. Kelihatan sedikit.
go in the Saxon ring sprint here. Luca Marini got a really good start from the middle of that front row. Jack Miller though comes to the fore. He's got the inside line, the two Ducatis. Bagnaia will go the long way round. Around the outside goes the
Wah,
and
chaos.
that might set him up nicely for turn 2. It does indeed. He sweeps
Peko pertama, coy.
Bagnaia in position A.
Marquez up one place. He went around the outside of the first corner as he desperately tries to make progress. He's also picked up one of the Prema Ducatis as the other Jorge Martin gets involved with Marco Bezzecchi. They're 3 abreast there into turn 4.
Marquez 6.
Yeah, that was Marini and Martin rubbing shoulders.
DJ 14.
Omega corner. We're on board there with Marquez, who's made a superb start.
Besok aku benerin kacanya. Besok kalau ada waktu ya.
He started 7th, Marquez 5th.
Binder also making progress up to 6th as his teammate
Miller P1.
Miller back in front, albeit briefly. Bagnaia looks to try and regain the lead as they come through turn 9.
These two know each other exceptionally well, of course. Bosom buddies, weren't they, in the Prema Ducati team years ago? They shared the factory Ducati garage for a couple of years. That was played by Miller, nipping up the inside of Bagnaia. Third gear, 140 kilometers an hour through that turn number 8. Here comes the fast starting, the hard charging Jorge Martin. He's through on the inside, down the bottom of the hill into turn 12, onto Miller. Martin's making big steps forward already. He's up to 2nd.
He wants to get on with it and keep Bagnaia in sight. So Miller now 3rd, from Marini in 4th. Bezzecchi's back in 7th place. The other bad starter on that first lap was Fabio Quartararo.
Ntar habis ini.
12 to 15.
Yeah, nightmare for Quartararo goes on then. Oh, Bagnaia was hanging out there, wasn't he?
Ya, Jerman.
He's not going to get that stop, and Miller and Martin. Oh, they go 3 abreast, Bagnaia, Martin and Marini in that very tight narrow exit at the first corner.
Zoom gimana zoom? Gak bisa di zoom. Udah segini dulu aja nontonnya. Nonton di mana, di Vision Plus. Berbayar tapi. Ih, banyak juga yang nonton ya. 126. Thank you ya yang udah follow, udah nge-like. Enea peringkat berapa? Enea 12. Enea 12. Suara nggak kedengeran kah? Aku nggak tahu caranya, suaranya. Naikin kacanya nggak bisa. Marquez dapat track limit warning. 72 posisi 7. Kayak gini. Kacanya emang segini. Oh, Mark melebar. Chaos banget tadi. Di Sen one-nya. Marquez nomor berapa? Marquez 7 dapat track limit warning.
So far this weekend, including 3 times in the space of 30 minutes in qualifying this morning.
He lost out to Bezzecchi into turn 1. He just slotted in ahead of Zarco. They've been close already this weekend, haven't they? Famously yesterday, so there's a little bit of a gap behind this leading group of 5, bookended by the factory KTMs, who are the 2 fastest bikes on circuit. Bezzecchi now with a bit of clear track. Can he bring himself and, crucially, Marquez into the frame here?
No coincidence this, is it, to see the likes of Bagnaia, Martin and Binder right at the sharp end early on in this sprint.
Jack Miller pasti melorot. Gak tahu, sini sprint soalnya. Ya, Bagnaia attack.
5th gear turn number 11, and he's back at the front. The world champion leads there. Miller has got all the hard work all over again. He's trying to find a way back through up the hill into turn number 13. No way through. Third.
He got such a good slingshot, didn't he, down the hill out of turn 11.
Bestia 11. Kalau kayak gini kelihatan nggak nomor-nomornya? Miller, cok. Bisa dong. Berapa lap? Apa tadi ya? 16 apa 15 gitu. Sekarang udah di 12 lap lagi. Komennya ilangin. Nah, gini. Cara ngilangin komen gimana? Gak bisa ditayangin langsung, ntar aku kena ban masalahnya kalau nggak lewat kaca. Aku kena ban ntar kalau nggak lewat kaca, bro.
tiny bit.
Already, second sector, Zarko was absolutely superb. He took 4/10 out of Marco.
Adanya ini doang. Baru percobaan soalnya. Besok. Martin 2-in-1.
Martin, brilliant move on the inside of both Miller and Bagnaia on the brakes into that 12. How close do you want it? Oh dear me, this was really close there, wasn't it, as well, between Martin and Miller and all this frenetic action.
Merinding aku.
This is now dragging
Geser dikit ke kiri.
Beseki and Zarko as well.
Where do you look? Miller was trying to keep the inside line and keep Bagnaia on
Kayak
his
gini.
right. He thought he'd done it, he had done it.
11 lap lagi.
For Martin coming through on his left.
Di TV besok ya, di TV besok main race-nya.
This will be interesting. Look at the tyre graphic because Beseki and Zarko have that medium Michelin front tyre on there. The only riders.
1, 2, 3, 1 Martin, Miller, Bagnaia, Marini, Binder. Martin, Miller, Bagnaia, Marini, Binder. 93 posisi 9. 1 sampai 5 itu grup 1, 6 sampai 13 itu grup 2.
And he will try and stretch out this group, won't he? Look how good Martin is. The corner speed he's able to carry through turns 8 and 9 already on this current lap. It's around 3/10 clear and Miller in second.
We've already seen where Miller's vulnerable on this lap. It's right here as they descend from the waterfall section again. You can see him hugging the left-hand side of the track, but Bagnaia is still able to get.
Wah, Bagnaia under overtake. Nontonnya pakai Vision Plus. Berlangganan iya, 38.000 sebulan. Beseki 7. Gak bisa. Gimana sih? Nggak tahu, nggak ngerti. Ntar aja. Ntar aku cariin lagi. Masih magang di TikTok. Malam mas, malam pengen. Nggak ke Mas Odi pin. Aku juga live di YouTube guys. Kalau mau ke YouTube, namanya persis yang di atas ini. Kalau transcucu biasa bisa nggak bang? Marini berapa? Marini, aduh berapa tuh? 4 ya? Marini 4, Marquez 9. Aku kesiniin ya biar kalian lihat. Tuh, kelihatan nggak? Kelihatan nggak sih? 1/3 Martin, Bagnaia, Miller. Sama-sama. Thank you ya udah nge-follow yang nge-like. Anjir banyak banget tuh, aku live di TikTok pin 155 yang nonton. Yang tadi ya udah gini. Gini.
Martin on a different level here. He's just set another fastest lap of the sprint, 1:29.82. That was 3/10 clear of Bagnaia. The advantage just a whisker over a full second over the line. The gap between the top 6 down to
Sama-sama. Thank you ya yang udah nge-follow, yang udah nge-like. Thank you.
Struggling at this stage of the sprint. He did a 1:21.7. That was half a second slower than Pekka Bagnaia. So Beseki going the wrong way, unfortunately, at this stage of the sprint.
Well, the European bikes continue to dominate, don't they? We've got the Ducati.
Iya, pakai HP tapi pin.
Behind Jorge Martin, of course, leads the race on that GP.
Yang satu pakai HP, yang satu di sini. 1,2 nih. Martin ngacir. Curang, Cok.
Jonas Folger's entered the pits on the gas Tech 3 machine, so maybe some mechanical issue there for the German. Disappointment for him in his
Bersihkan.
home Grand Prix so far. At the moment, Martin, he's really good in that second split. He was 1.2 seconds clear in that second sector. Bagnaia is able to eke back a little bit of time, but it's sort of settled down, hasn't it now? There was the storm before the calming.
Gak berani, ntar pasti kena Bennett. Be right back. Oke, pin.
has set the best lap of the sprint. He's in the groove. He's found his rhythm, a 1:28.86. Bagnaia is trying to respond. He did a personal best lap of a 1:21.44, but once again,
Gak bisa ininya tuh kayak gini.
the brilliant Martin is now 1.3 seconds clear.
Nobody else can get in the 120s, only Martin.
Nih, kelihatan nggak?
At the moment, Bagnaia looks like he's got the measure of Miller at the moment in that battle for second and third. He's got a half a second buffer now.
Bentar. Fastest lap nih, Martin ngacir cok di posisi pertama 1,5 detik. Nontonnya di Vision Plus. Pegel, pegangin. Pegel. Pegangin, mana bisa dipegangin cok.
Pre-weekend in the pre-event press conference, asked Jorge Martin if he's in the best moment of his MotoGP career.
Ini kan
Undoubtedly so. The recent run for the 25-year-old
King BBCS apa anjir King BBCS?
He's not been slower than 4
Marquez
in the last
10.
3 sprints or the last Grand Prix. Double podiums in Le Mans and Mugello. He's rocketed himself up from 11th to 3rd in the World Championships. It's going to get even better, isn't it? As he moves up ahead of Marco Bezzecchi in 2 seconds.
Nih Martin nih, 2-in-1 cok, gokil. Bagnaia dari luar lagi, tapi nggak bisa masuk dia.
Brilliant stuff that by Martin. We're riding on board with it now, aren't we? Bagnaia is just the man ahead of him. There is Jack Miller as well, who's going to get sandwiched in between the two factory Ducatis. That was really, really close. Eye of the needle stuff from Martin. And look at that, seconds later, he went full Marc Marquez. He was just a little bit offline there, wasn't he, Lewis? Maybe a dirty part of the circuit after all the rain we've had over the last couple of days.
Aja sasing tapi utang 10. Ya, motornya begitu. Gimana?
Totally different level.
Ducati Cup ya. Nggak terlalu sih, nggak separah yang di Mugello ini. Tujuh lap lagi guys, 7 lap lagi. Division Plus berbayar ya bang? Iya bayar 38.000. Sprint race. Q2 mah udah tadi. Q2 Q1 itu di jam 4.
But at the moment, Martin on course for a 5th sprint podium in 7, and Pecco Bagnaia, of course, for a 6th sprint podium.
Aduh, lecet kalian nggak kelihatan.
Are certainly enjoying this new sprint era, aren't they? Martin again comes over the line.
Nggak kelihatan kacanya bang. Pindah kamu, skater.
Pecco Bagnaia, we have to drop all the way back down to 10th place to find Marc Marquez.
Nah ini Marquez nih. Marquez train. Ya. Marquez 11 sekarang. Vision Plus. Bezzecchi 7. Iya, soalnya kan ada sprint race jadi Q1 Q2 nya dipindah. Free practice 4-nya udah nggak ada, jadi cuman free practice 3 doang. Nah ini P4 posisi 4. Kayaknya fix nih. Martin pertama, Bagnaia kedua, Miller ketiga. Aduh, macet cok. Martin 1,7, 1,8 tuh. Miller 1,1 kalau Marini. Per bulan 38.000. Aquarium mana ada? Sprint race berapa lap? Biar normalnya 15. Tadi berapa? 15 atau 18 ya? Ini aplikasi apa? Vision Plus. Belakang luka siapa? Binder. Berat Binder.
There is Martin, stretched out now, isn't it, between the top 3. A 1.4 second gap between Martin and Bagnaia. He's internally 9/10 clear of Miller, who's got that 1.2 seconds.
Besok live kayaknya. Tapi ya kayak gini lagi. Besok iya kayaknya. Tapi kayak gini lagi. Bezzecchi 7.
Jonsbo got it all wrong there into turn 1 at the start of this 11th lap, which has dropped him a little bit back from Brad Binder, who are currently riding on board. They can see Zarco just behind him, and Marco Bezzecchi is trying to get on terms with this trio battling for fourth place.
Iya, nyari gedean. Baru pertama soalnya. Adanya ini jadi ya udah. Nonton di mana? Di Vision Plus.
who's about to lose second in the world
Vision Plus,
championship.
Vision Plus, Vision Plus, Vision Plus, Vision Plus, Vision Plus. Bang. Ya, insya Allah ya, sering live. Oke, Binder. Alah, macet ya. Babi, macet. Ada banyak. Mungkin besok harus matiin bang. Ya aku belum tahu caranya, Vision caranya matiin gimana. Ntar aku cari tutorial di YouTube. Binder, ayo Binder. Dasimeke. Ya, kelebar Binder. Belakang Binder Zarko. Sektor 1. Ada yang jatuh kah? Kayaknya nggak ada. Wah, Maverick Penyalis out. Peko kedua, Martin pertama, Peko kedua, Miller ketiga. Bayarnya lewat apa? Lewat Dana bisa, GoPay bisa. Bush. Front end washout. Maverick Penyalis.
Disappeared, hasn't it? Binder again, he's just trying to get close enough maybe here to line up a move on Marini as they drop into the heavy braking zone for turn number 12.
Quartararo 13. Kasihan Quartararo itu.
Spectacular corners on the Grand Prix calendar, let alone here at the Sachsenring, but Marini's just too good on the front end of that Ducati. What about Binder now? Is there room on the inside of Marini this time into 13? No, there isn't. He goes defensive again.
Pelan-pelan banget ya, iya. Yamaha. Set, Binder, yuk lagi. Ih. Max 11, kurang berapa lap lagi? 3 lap. Jagoanmu siapa bang? Dijia, 12 Dijia. Nggak tahu. Aku aja nyembunyiin komentar juga nggak tahu. Miller ketiga. Udah nih podiumnya 3 orang ini nih. Martin, Baknanya sama Miller. Beseki 7. Beseki udah 7, nggak mungkin pindah-pindah lagi dia. Gapnya ke Alex Marquez jauh. Tuh tekan layar ditahan terus bersihkan komentar. John Mir di Honda gimana bang? John Mir sampah. Yamoton juga sampah sih, gimana ya? Terus dia cedera kan, jadi ya udah. Dia absen BTW. Mir. Alex Marquez 8, belakangnya Bezeki. Yuk Binder. Bisa. Ya. Lama banget Binder dah. Morbi kayaknya 15 dah. Marquez 11. Bukan ini batal sama Binder sama Zarko.
We're on to the penultimate lap now. It's Binder running 5th at the moment. I think Brad Binder will know now where he's strong, where Marini's strong.
Alex Marquez 8, Quartararo 13. Quartararo 13 ya.
He's now trying to get creative into turn 9 as well. That's a very ambitious one. Marini does go slightly.
Bisa nih.
He's one of those wide low stickers on the back of that Ducati, doesn't he?
Jangan pakai ranking. 727, posisi 7, Beseki 7. Habis ini last lap, habis ini last lap. Aduh, oh mobil Deli 14. Posisi 4. Battle-nya Marini, Binder sama siapa itu? Sama Zarko.
any way through this time for Binder. As that KTM snakes left and snakes right, but
Last lap ya, last lap.
hangs in there, he holds on to Thor.
I think Brad Binder's trying. He's
Iya bener,
absolutely
kesusahan nih.
sideways into turn one, so that potential opportunity has now
Defensive line-nya Mari ini bagus banget. Binder tadi apa terlalu ngelebar terus.
The finish line is just over that crest on the outside of the final corner, so if you can force it to the apex and force
Alex 10, Alex Pergaro.
An 82nd lap here in the Saxon Ring from the world's best riders. Blink, can you miss the action? And how quick has this sprint gone here over 15 laps? We are on the last lap, halfway around it. And it's been a cruise for
Satunya Martin. Martin Bagnaya Miller.
He's 2.2 seconds clear of Pekka Bagnaia. Here is this battle though. Who's going to take fourth place? Here comes Zarko.
Zarko.
Oh, that's really aggressive. He made a move there, didn't he, on Alex Espargaro.
Jarang-jarang Zarko agresif nih.
In the Grand Prix here last year. Brad Binder just gets nerfed offline. But here
Martin win. Jorge Martin win.
Sprint in the last three. It's been great in Germany for the Martinator. He's our sprint winner here in the Saxon Ring. He wins by nearly 2.5 seconds.
Zarko.
Pekka Bagnaia. On the drag race to the finish line, Jack Miller takes third. It's Marini who just
Binder 6 ya.
just wins that drag race at fourth place. Zarko
Ini aku bacain nih. Martin, Bagnaia, Miller, Marini, Zarko, Binder, Bezeki, Alex Marquez, Alex Espargaro, Enea Bastianini itu top 10. Bubar. Udah selesai bubar. Sama-sama semua, thank you juga yang udah nge-like.
For Marc Marquez, 4 crashes this weekend, but take your hat off to Jorge Martin. That graphic says it all.
Yo, sama-sama.
2 wins in the last 3 sprints for him.
Martin, Peko, Miller tuh. Tuh. Besok lagi ya, insya Allah besok ya. Bagnaia kedua. Nih. Lihat. Boom. Tapi ini racing nggak sih? Menurutku racing incident sih. Iya cari kaca, iya. Ntar ya. Besok ganti kaca. Ada yang ngasih Rose kah? Thank you. Hehe. Gift pertama tuh yang aku dapetin dari TikTok. Thank you. Dah. Masa hilang sih? Nggak mungkin lah. Aku aja masih. Coba komplain ke ininya, customer service-nya Vision Plus. Besok kayaknya tetap yang ini sih kacanya.
5 podiums in a row for Martin, 2 in Le Mans, 2 in Mugello, and now the job done in the first of his weekend's work here in the Saxon Ring. Huge credit, enormous credit to Luca Marini as he held off Binder and Zarko for 4th place. But what is going through the mind of this man who has been well and truly in sprint terms dethroned here, hasn't he, as the king of the Saxon Ring?
Nonton di Vision Plus.
In the main Grand Prix.
Ya besok lihatlah. Besok ganti kaca. Beliau besar. Iya besok. Besok belum bisa.
Just beat Fabio Di Gianantonio over the line by 7/100ths of a second. He did his level best early on, didn't he, to try and get in amongst that leading group, but he just fell backwards as the sprint
dulu ya guys, thank you guys. Aku mau beli ini, mau beli makanan kucing dulu. Dadah, thank you semua yang udah join, yang udah nge-like. 3,4 like, yang udah join, yang udah nge-follow. Terus
There's a thumbs up from a
nge-gift,
man who had
thank
to
you,
work very, very hard for
dadah.
that 5th place, but it sounded like there, the body language in his voice, that it's quite a frustrated Johan Zarko. I wonder if there was that problem that he had at the start, as Simon mentioned, which saw him drop down to about 8th place. This was a very